Hey, folks. How you doing? It's Thursday, the 13th of November. And yes, I'm live. Yes, I am live. What do you know? I'm live in the morning. Holy crap. And I'm on my second cup of coffee. So what do you know? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. It's not a podcast, it's live. So anyway, we're going to get into a lot of news. I got an hour with you. So, hey, let's take a look at what's going on around the world. Hey, I want to give you an alternate website. It's a long address. Please stick with me, folks. Till I can arrange something, stick with me. I'm in the chat room on the website. Here it is. American Liberty Radio .wix W-I-X .com /ALR network. Okay, that's AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com /ALR network. So I'm over there right now. I'm in the chat room. Unfortunately, I got to change some things around and redo the website because my show is not live on the website as of yet. So I got to change that around, and you'll get the archived show today on that particular website. That's a backup to the freeamericaradio.weebly.com site. So stick around, folks. So let's go to Facebook, shall we? Let's go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Okay. Just wanting to give you a piece of some news that I think you already know. Okay? But I'm going to tell it to you anyway. TheUnjustMedia.com. The United States of America is a corporation owned by foreign interests. I'm just letting you know. It's on the Free America Radio Facebook page, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page as well. How y'all doing today, folks? Let's say hello to Mr. Bob Brutus over there on Crazy Wolf Radio. Go look that up. Yes. Whoops. You know what? I must not have had enough coffee this morning. Having one of those mornings, folks. Hey, yeah, go to Crazy Wolf Radio and check out his show. So when we come back from the break, I'll go ahead and read you some of this. The United States of America is owned by foreign corporations, namely the Rothschilds. And so, well, remember, folks, go to American Liberty Radio Network at American Liberty Radio .wix.com /ALR network. That's a backup to everything that I have. AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com /ALR network. It's just a backup, folks. Anyway, I will return. You can email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. There you go. I shall return right after this. Showing you who's behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Chris Ann Hall, Liberty's lobbyist. Go to Chris Ann Hall, KrisAnnehall.com, chrisannhall.com. The Pete Santilli Show on the Guerrilla Media Network, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not. GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Hey, folks, yes, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show live. Yes, I'm live. I'm not in podcast form. How are you? Hey, how you doing today? This is the 13th of November, 2014. Yes, I am live for the next, well, till the top of the hour. And then I got things to do, man. Okay. Go check out Mr. Tom Slick over at Radio Rock the Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Check out his show on Spreaker.com. Radio Rock the Blitz, 92.6. Yeah, Radio Rock, 92.6 The Blitz, radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. So check him out as well. Hey, lots of things going on. I don't know where to begin, okay? Honestly, do not know where to begin. I could go here. Let's begin here, shall we? At theunjustmedia.com, the United States of America is a corporation owned by foreign interests. Below are two articles covering the fact that since the Act of 1871, which established the District of Columbia, we have been living under the United States Corporation, which is owned by certain international bankers and aristocracy of Europe and Britain. In 1871, the Congress changed the name of the original Constitution by changing one word, and that was very significant, as you will read. This is on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and Free America Radio on Facebook. Some people do not know that one word or two words difference in any legal document do make a critical difference, but Congress has known and does know this. I'm told this corporation, established in 1871, will be canceled by NASARA, and NASARA will also restore the original Constitution, which assists in restoring our constitutional rights in the Bill of Rights and our rights as described in the Declaration of Independence. 1871. February 21st, Congress passes an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia, also known as the Act of 1871. Information on this, by the way, is in a yet unpublished book, Pentimento, Freedom Revisited. Okay? Pentimento. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. Pentimento, Freedom Revisited. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress creates a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10-square-mile parcel of land. See Acts of 41st Congress, Section 34, Session 3, Chapters 61 and 62. The act, passed when the country was weakened and financially depleted in the aftermath of the Civil War, was a strategic move by foreign interest international bankers who were intent on gaining a stronghold on the coffers and neck of America. Congress cut a deal with the international bankers, specifically Rothschilds of London, to incur a debt to said bankers because the bankers were not about to lend money to a floundering nation without serious stipulations. They devised a way to get their foot in the door of the United States. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation called the United States. The corporation, owned by foreign interest, moved in and shoved the original Constitution into the dustbin. With the Act of 1871, the organic Constitution was defaced, in effect vandalized and sabotaged, when the title was capitalized and the word for was changed to of in the title. The Constitution of the United States of America is a Constitution of the Incorporated United States of America. It operates in an economic capacity and has been used to fool the people into thinking it governs the Republic. It does not. Capitalization is not insignificant when one is referring to a legal document. This seemingly, quote-unquote, minor alteration has had a major impact on every subsequent generation of Americans. What Congress did by passing the Act of 1871 was create an entirely new document, a constitution for the government of the District of Columbia and incorporated government. This newly altered Constitution was not intended to benefit the Republic. It benefits only the corporation of the United States of America and operates entirely outside the original or organic Constitution. Instead of having absolute and unalienable rights guaranteed under the organic Constitution, we the people now have relative rights or privileges. One example is the sovereign's right to travel, which has now been transformed under corporate government policy into a quote-unquote privilege that requires citizens to be licensed. By passing the Act of 1871, Congress committed treason against the people who were sovereign under the grants and decrees of the Declaration of Independence and the Organic Constitution. Information courtesy Elisa Giuliani, BabelMagazine.com. The Act of 1871 became the foundation of all the treason since committed by the government officials. The United States isn't a country, it's a corporation. In preparation for stealing America, the puppets of Britain's banking cabal had already created a second government, a shadow government designed to manage what the common herd believed was a democracy, but what really was an incorporated United States. Together, this Crimea, Crimea is in the Ukraine, this chimera, this two-headed monster, disallowed the common herd all rights of sovereignty, or sui juris. Congress, with no authority to do so, created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10-square-mile parcel of land. Why and how did they do so? First, Lisa Giuliani of Babel Magazine reminds us that the Civil War was, in fact, quote, little more than a calculated front with fancy footwork by backroom players, unquote. Then she adds, quote, it was also a strategic maneuver by British and European international bankers intent on gaining a stronghold on the coffers of America. And because Congress knew our country was in dire financial straits, certain members of Congress cut a deal with the international bankers. In those days, the Rothschilds of London were dipping their fingers into everyone's pie. There you have the why members of the Congress permitted the international bankers to gain further control of America. Then, by passing the Act of 1871, Congress formed a corporation known as the United States. This corporation, owned by foreign interest, shoved the organic version of the Constitution aside by changing the word for to of in the title. Let me explain. The original Constitution drafted by the Founding Fathers read, quote, "The Constitution for the United States of America," unquote. Note that neither the words United or States began with a capital letters. But the Constitution of the United States of America, that's in quotes, is a corporate constitution, which absolutely not the same document you think it is. First of all, it ended all of our rights of sovereignty. So you now have the how the international bankers got their hands on the United States of America, unquote. To fully understand how our rights of sovereignty were ended, you must know the full meaning of sovereign, which means chief or highest supreme power, superior in position to all others, independent of and unlimited by others, possessing or entitled to original and independent authority or jurisdiction. That's from the Webster's Dictionary. In short, our government, which was created by and for us as sovereigns, free citizens deemed to have the highest authority in the land, was stolen from us along with our rights. Keep in mind that according to the original Constitution, only we, the people, are sovereign. Government is not sovereign. The Declaration of Independence says, quote, "Government is subject to the consent of the governed," unquote. That's us, the sovereigns. When did you last feel like a sovereign? As Lisa Giuliani explained, quote, "It doesn't take a rocket scientist and a constitutional historian to figure out that the United States government has not been subject to the consent of the governed since long before you and I were born. Rather, the governed are subject to the whim and greed of the corporation, which has stretched its tentacles beyond the 10-square-mile parcel of land known as the District of Columbia. In fact, it has invaded every state of the Republic. Mind you, the corporation has no jurisdiction beyond the District of Columbia." You just think it does. You see, you are presumed to know the law, which is very weird since we, the people, are taught nothing about the law in school. We memorize obscure facts and phrases here and there, like the preamble, which says, quote, "We, the people, establish this Constitution of the United States of America," unquote. But our teachers only gloss over the Bill of Rights. Our schools, controlled by the corporate government, don't delve into the Constitution at depth. After all, the corporation was established to indoctrinate the dumb down the masses, not to teach anything of value or importance. Certainly no one mentioned that America was sold out to foreign interests, that we were beneficiaries of the debt incurred by Congress, or that we were in debt to the international bankers. Yet, for generations, Americans have had the bulk of their earnings confiscated to pay a massive debt that they did not incur. There's an endless stream of things the people aren't told. And now that you are being told, how do you feel about being made the recipient of a debt without your knowledge or consent? After passage of the Act of 1871, Congress set a series of subtle and overt descriptions into motion, deceptions in the form of decisions that were meant to sell us down the river. Over time, the Republic took it on the chin until it was knocked down and counted out by a technical KO. With the surrender of the people's gold in 1933, the quote-unquote common herd was handed over to illegitimate law. I'll bet you weren't taught that in school. Our corporate form of governance is based on Roman civil law and admiralty, or maritime law, which is also known as, quote-unquote, the divine right of kings, and the law of the seas. Another fact of American history not taught in our schools. Actually, Roman civil law was fully established in the colonies before our nation began and then became managed by private international law. In other words, the government created for the District of Columbia via the Act of 1871, operates solely under private international law, not common law, which was the foundation of our constitutional republic. This fact has impacted all Americans in concrete ways. For instance, although private international law is technically only applicable within the District of Columbia, and not in the other states of the Union, the arms of the corporation of the United States are called quote-unquote departments, i.e. the Justice Department, the Treasury Department. And those departments affect everyone, no matter where, in what state they live. Guess what? Each department belongs to the corporation, the United States. Are you with me so far? We on the same page? Continuing, refer to any United States code. That's all in block letters, bold letters. Note the capitalization. This is evident of a corporation, not a republic. For example, the title 283002, and in parentheses is 15, A, B, and C, is unequivocally stated that the United States is a corporation. Translation, the corporation is not a separate and distinct entity. It is not disconnected from the government. It is the government, your government. This is extremely important. I refer to it as the, quote, corporate empire of the United States, unquote, which operates under Roman civil law outside of the original Constitution. How do you like being ruled by a corporation? You say you'll ask your congressperson about this? Congress is fully aware of this deception, so it's time that you too become aware of the deception. What this great deception means is that the members of Congress do not work for us, for you or me. They work for the corporation, for the United States. No wonder we can't get them to do anything on our behalf or meet our demands or answer our questions. Technically, legally, or any other way you want to look at the matter, the corporate government of the United States has no jurisdiction or authority in any state of the Union, the Republic, beyond the District of Columbia. Let that tidbit sink in. Then ask yourself, could this deception have occurred without full knowledge and complicity of the Congress? Do you think it happened by accident? If you do, you're deceiving yourself. There are no accidents, no coincidences. Face the facts and confront the truth. Remember, you are presumed to know the law. They know you don't know the law, or, for that matter, your history. Why? Because no concerted effort was ever made to teach or otherwise inform you. As a sovereign, you are entitled to full disclosure of the facts. As a slave, you are entitled to nothing other than what the corporation decides to, quote-unquote, give you. Remember also that, quote, ignorance of the law is no excuse, unquote. It's your responsibility and obligation to learn the law and know how it applies to you. No wonder the corporation counted on the fact that most people are too indifferent or unconcerned or distracted or lazy to learn what they need to know to survive within the system. We have been conditioned to let the government do our thinking for us. Now's the time to turn that around if we intend to help save our republic and ourselves before it's too late. As an instrument of the international bankers, the United States owns you from birth to death. It also holds ownership of all your assets, of your property, even of your children. Think long and hard about all the bill taxes, fines, and licenses you have paid for or purchased. Yes, they had you by the pockets. If you don't believe it, read the 14th Amendment. See how, quote-unquote, free you really are. Ignorance of the facts led to your silence. Silence is construed as consent. Consent to be beneficiaries of a debt you did not incur. As a sovereign people, we have been deceived for hundreds of years. We think we are free, but in truth, we are servants of the corporation. Congress committed treason against the people in 1871. Honest men could have corrected the fraud and treason. But apparently there weren't enough honest men to counteract the lust of money and power. We lost more freedom than we will ever know thanks to the corporate infiltration of our so-called government. Do you think that any soldier who died in any way in any of the many wars would have fought if he or she had known the truth? Do you think one person would have laid down his or her life for a corporation? How long will we remain silent? How long will we perpetuate the myth that we are free? When will we stand together as one sovereign people? When will we take back what has been stolen from us? If the people of America had known to what extent their trust was betrayed, how long would it have taken for a real revolution to occur? What we now need is a revolution of thought. We need to change our thinking. Then we can change our world. Our children deserve their rightful legacy and the liberty our ancestors fought to preserve, the legacy of a sovereign and fully free people, unquote. Posted on August 27th, 2002 at babelmagazine.com, B-A-B-A-L magazine.com. From a speech in Congress in the bankruptcy of the United States Congressional Record, March 17th, 1993, Volume 33, page H1303, Speaker Representative James Traficant Jr., who recently passed away, of Ohio, addressing the House. Quote, prior to 1913, most Americans owned clear, allodial title to property, free and clear of any liens or mortgages until Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Hypothecated, I guess, I don't know. All property within the federal United States to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, in which the trustees, the stockholders, held legal title. The U.S. citizen, tenant, franchisee was registered as a beneficiary of the trust via his or her birth certificate. In 1933, the federal United States hypothecated all of the present and future properties, assets, and labor of their subjects, the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, to the Federal Reserve System. In return, the Federal Reserve System agreed to extend the federal United States corporation all the credit, quote-unquote, money substitute it needed. Like any other debtor, the federal United States government had to assign collateral and security to their creditors as a condition of the loan. Since the federal United States didn't have any assets, they assigned the private property of their economic slaves, the U.S. citizens, as collateral against the unpayable federal debt. They also pledged the unincorporated federal territories, national parks, forests, birth certificates, and nonprofit organizations as collateral against the federal debt. All has already been transferred as payment to the international bankers. Unwittingly, America has returned to its pre-American Revolution feudal roots, whereby all land is held by a sovereign, and the common people had no rights to hold allodial, I don't know how to pronounce that word, title of property. Once again, we the people are the tenants and sharecroppers renting our property from a sovereign in the guise of the Federal Reserve Bank. We the people have exchanged one master for another, unquote. That is absolutely, positively 100% true. There is no doubt in my mind at all that we are not a free people. This is why we have to stand, speak out, get involved, as Brian Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com says. One of the things that I've known for many, many years is the fact that we can take this country back. Yes, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be difficult at times. But guess what? We can do it. There's no question in my mind. We can do this. I'll be back right after this.
Train, start Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Coming to you live from the biggest little city in the world behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show, and I'm yours truly, Wayne S. Pierce. How are ya? How you doing? You good? It's the 13th of November 2014. Are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet? This is this is interesting. I haven't done a morning show in a long time. Yes, it's morning for those listening in the archives. Yeah. So, there you go, folks. Hey, I spoke of Brian Lang before the break. Brian Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com. He said, sitting here parked in Ada, Ohio, a normal person would think what's falling from the sky is snow, but I'm just a little abnormal, I believe, because what falls to the windshield is actually a thin plastic paper-like substance that's pink. Hello? Wake up, people. Yeah, think about that one for a minute, folks. Now, I want to say this. I know a lot of people get all pissed off and start ranting about beforeitsnews.com, but let me tell you something. All it is a website where you can upload your articles, whatever it is you want to, whatever you want to write, you can upload it there. It's not the site itself, folks. Okay? So don't get all pissy about the site. Okay? So don't do that. Beforeitsnews.com. All it is you can upload your article, whatever it is you wrote. Okay? So knock it off. So beforeitsnews.com from Pete Santilli over at the Guerrilla Media Network. Okay? You ever have a problem with your lips? They just don't want to work. Hey, he says exclusive bombshell audio blows lid off Osama bin Laden hoax. Witness, bin Laden dead long ago. Folks, I've been telling you that for freaking months now, okay? This is on the Free America Radio Facebook page. You can just scroll on down and find that. I've been telling you this for months. Bin Laden was dead in 2001. Because this whistleblower that was on that article, you can go click on the link at Free America Radio on Facebook. He's been dead for quite a long time. This whistleblower delivered the kidney dialysis machine in 1997-98 at the hospital bin Laden was in. And the doctor said he doesn't have 5 years to live. Okay? He's been dead a long time, folks. So this person out there right now saying, yes, I shot bin Laden. No, somebody got to him and propped him up and said, tell the media that you did this. We'll help you write a book. We'll make you some money, and, you just sell your soul to us, and we'll give you fame and power. Kind of like Mephistopheles, huh? Yeah, go check that out. The story of Faust. So anyway, yeah, I read a lot, folks. So let me take some coffee. Hold on. Ew. Got cold. But anyway, check this out. You can get probably more information from me, but I want you to go elsewhere. Take the information I have, of course, and go check it out. Seriously. Go check it out. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to? Go to Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. Okay, he's got a lot of stuff up there. Go to Bob Brutus at Crazy Wolf Radio. He'll talk to you about who actually started this country many years ago. There's a lot. Go to Pete Santilli. Listen to the Pete Santilli Show over at Guerrilla Media Network, or GMN.is. That's GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com or GMNIS. Let me tell you something, folks. The truth is what? What is the truth? The truth is the truth subjective to your own perception? I would in certain cases say yes. But if you and I agree on something, don't you think that would be true? If we have an affinity to something and we see that and we say, yes, that's what that is, then of course it's true. Is it not? And for all the people, like I said before, all the people that criticize beforeitsnews.com, oh, wow, that site sucks. Folks, consider beforeitsnews.com a giant file cabinet, okay, where you can go and pick out stories that you want to read. That's all it is. So shut your big damn traps and realize what it is. It's like Drudge Report. News articles. It's an aggregate, a news aggregate. By the way, if the FCC doesn't stand up to Obama and tell him to shove his net neutrality up his ass, we're not going to have those anymore. Okay? You may not even hear this show. You may, at some point, probably, let's hope not, hear this show, and then right after this show have something totally opposite of what I've said. That's net neutrality. Actually, no. It's a contradiction in terms. It's not net neutral, as they like to say. It's basically the liberals and the federal government telling everybody else like you and I, shut your big fat mouths. We will tell you what we want you to know. And you will go along with it. That's what it is, folks. That's what it is. There is no neutrality in that. We are going to wind up, if we the people don't stand up and get behind the push to get rid of all that bull crap, we're going to wind up with an internet system that looks like China's. Okay? That's what we're going to have. And if you don't like it, then do something about it, will you? Okay? So what do we do? Yeah, I got off on that tear and all that. Anyway. What do we do, folks? What do we do? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. The Gateway Pundit. Are you better off today? Here are some true facts and figures from the Obama economy. Yes. 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 Isn't that wonderful? We have a non-citizen in the White House. Jim Hoff posted this on the 4th of October, over a month ago. And this week, both Obama and Michelle Obama, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, told supporters the U.S. economy is now better off, quote, by almost every economic measure, unquote. What the hell are they looking at? At the annual Black Caucus dinner last weekend, Barack Obama said the economy is better off by every economic measure. Quote, "There's almost no economic measure that we are not better off than when I took office," unquote. Really? That's doublespeak, by the way. Here's the truth. Real unemployment is at 23%. John Ransom at Town Hall reported the BLS reported the job creation market at 248,000. Another 315,000 people left the labor force last month. When one accounts for part-time work, discouraged workers, and those who have dropped out of the labor force entirely, unemployment is closer to 23%, with no great sign of retreat from that number. Labor participation rate is at 62.7%, a 36-year low. Zero Hedge reported a record 92.6 million Americans are not in the labor force. The U.S. labor participation rate has fallen behind Great Britain for the first time in 36 years thanks to Obama's failed big government policies. The number of long-term unemployed Americans has more than doubled since 2007 from 18.4% to 39.3%. Fact, let's go down here. Americans are getting poorer. Household net worth is in decline. Under Barack Obama, American households are worth 2/3 of what they were worth under George W. Bush. From 87,992 in 2003 to 56,335 in 2013. The median household net worth under Obama is 1/3 what it was during the Bush years. Under Obama, 1/5 middle class falls into poverty. Barack Obama's war on the middle class. Gas prices up, incomes down. Shall I go on, folks? This is on Free America Radio on Facebook. You can go look at this yourself. Crunch the numbers on your own. The facts are the facts, folks. There is no recovery. Okay? Financially or otherwise. There is no recovery. Okay? Now, everybody says, well, the economy's really good. Have you noticed the gas prices going down? Pastor Lindsey Williams said that if it goes up to $5 a gallon per gas, or, $5 per gallon, then we're going to be in trouble. Did you notice it was squeaking up close to that about 6 months ago, and now in some places it's under $3? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. It's you and I that happened. We became aware of their criminal activity coming out of Washington, D.C., and guess what? If it wasn't for social media and other places, that would have gotten a lot worse. It would have been over $5 a gallon. Okay? Now, I know in some places in the U.S. it is over or just under $5 a gallon. Hey, I want to go to the Spreaker side of things, and I'm going to say hello to the one and only, the man himself from Crazy Wolf Radio. Yes, waking up the masses, Mr. Bob Brutus. How you doing there, Mr. Bob? Yes. It's one of those things where when we look at the economy, we ask ourselves, how much money can I save every month? Okay? I look at it this way. If I got $1 in my pocket at the end of the month and every bill is paid, I'm good. Yeah, but you can't go out and buy stuff. You want to go to the mall. You want to go. My bills are paid. I got a roof over my head and food in my stomach. What more do I want? I'm like my grandmother. I'll just save to get whatever it is I want. If I can't get it now, I can't get it now. No big deal. It's just the way it is. We are probably economically, personally, in your own household, depending if you're single or divorced or whatever, we are probably at the same economic level per household. I don't think anybody's ever researched this, so somebody crunch the numbers and send that to me. We are at the same level per household, per family, a family of 4, as we were back in the late 1950s, early 1960s. And that was after the Korean War. just before the Gulf of Tonkin false flag incident that got us into Vietnam. We're at that level. I think 1958, 59, somewhere around in there. Help me crunch the numbers on that, folks. I don't have a calculator in front of me. But we are suffering under a blanket, if you will, of corporate greed. Okay? I mean, look at the people like Ted Turner. Look at people like George Soros. Look at people like Bill Gates. Look at people like, many number of people who are in business that make billions of dollars a year. They're the ones that are truly driving the top 3% or 4% of the richest people in America. Yeah, I put George Soros in that category, but he's European, so he's an investment banker. No, he, as a kid, was in Nazi Germany throwing the Jews into the ovens or into the prison camps. That's what George Soros is. I could be wrong in that. Somebody want to tell me if I am or not? Here's the facts, folks. Here's the facts. Unemployment is at an all-time high. It is at the same level, give or take, plus or minus a couple of points, as it was in 1929, 1930. Okay? Is at the same level. Back then, I think it was 25%, 26%, something like that. Now, why is that? Well, we started prospering after, I should say, prospering to make more money to pay more debt after 1933. The New Deal. It wasn't a New Deal. You know what that was? That was fascism taking hold of America. Fascism with, fascism in terms of taking the economics of the United States, the most prosperous country of, in that time, and pretty much the international bankers put a metaphorical gun against our head and said, this is what you're going to do. Okay? The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, under an agreement through international bankers, with international bankers at Jekyll Island in 1910, twisted the arm of President Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson signed, outside of the authority of Congress, behind closed doors, the Internal Revenue Act and the Federal Reserve Act, which literally meant that the Rothschilds and all the international bankers are saying to America, look, we know you're about ready to go broke again. And there's this thing coming up that, there's some tension in Europe that we may have to take a look at. 1914, the World War I started. 1918, it finished. How much money did we owe to the international bankers of that time? And who made money? So here it is. 18 years later, we get word from Europe again that something is brewing over there. Some tensions are happening. There's a vote in this little town called Berlin, Germany. They're looking at a new leader. Well, several years before that, we propped up that new leader. And in 1933, this new leader had a runoff with Mr. Hindenburg, Chancellor Hindenburg. And that new leader was Adolf Hitler. We propped him up, folks. We put him in power. Same thing with Khrushchev and all them. We put them in power. Okay? So here it is. Years later, we still put people in power. In Iraq, we put this, what is this? This coalition government together with the Sunnis and the Shiites, and people got pissed off about that too. But it didn't matter because we controlled them. Or I shouldn't say you and I, the international bankers controlled them. Much like they control the United States today. That's fact, folks. You don't have to believe me. You can go look this up yourself. But the facts of the matter is nobody is ever being taught any of this. Okay? Nobody is ever being taught any of this. Why was Israel recognized in 1947 by the United Nations? Why? Duh. Rothschild influences another country the Rothschilds and the international bankers created. But there's real, Jewish people there, and okay, I'll give you that. But it's not Israel as we knew it prior to 1945. It's not. Okay? So get your head out of your collective butts and start doing your research, because obviously you don't know anything. Okay? Now, the listeners to my show and to Nick Tucker and to Bob Brutus and the Pete Santilli and all that, to the listeners to these shows, I got to tell you, you guys are on point, man. You guys get the information. If I don't know something or if I overlook something, I'll go back and look. Hey, no big deal to me. Hey, it's just going to, I'm going to learn something from that. But if I've missed something about the international banking cartels and all the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all that, go check out Bob Brutus, who talks about that on wakingupthemasses.com. Yeah. He talks about the interworkings of these people. Who did what, where, when, how much money they spent, this kind of thing. I was looking at, here's an interesting little tidbit of information for you. I was looking at, we watched the Star Wars trilogy, the 4, 5, and 6. And I was watching this and I'm thinking to myself, if the United States military-industrial complex in this country really got their head out of their ass and stopped going over to other countries and occupying them and starting wars and killing people, the money that we spend on that, we can freaking build a fleet of X-Wings, okay? We have the technology. It's already there. Private companies can build the Millennium Falcon. I mean, come on. Look at all the money we spent. Crunch the numbers. From 1994, Clinton was in office, to 2014, how much money have we spent in two areas? A, the war on terror, and two, occupying countries. That's what we do. We're good at it. That's what we don't, there's another country and we've got to send troops over. No, we're just come right out and say it. We're going to go occupy another country and set up a puppet government. That's what we're going to do. Okay? We're the tool for the international bankers to do that. But how much money have they spent from 1994 to 2014 on all of this? Hell, we could have had a city, we could have had cities in the United States that looked like what Nikolai Tesla was imagining. Yeah. Thomas Edison stole all his work. Yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah. Bob, if you're still hanging out in the Spreaker chat, was Edison a Mason? Anyway. Facts are facts, folks. And if you can't... Well, let me rephrase that. If you deny the facts, then you're denying what is essentially treasonous acts from the federal government. By the way, Washington, D.C., 10 square miles. I read it just a little earlier. 10 square miles, that's all they own. That is all the land the United States government, Washington, D.C. owns, period. End of sentence, done. They cannot come to southern Nevada and steal 3.2 million acres of land. They can't. They just can't do that. Okay? They can't do that. It's against the law, number one. Number two, it's against the Constitution. Go look it up. But facts are facts. I mean, if you're going to deny the facts, then you're condoning the treasonous actions coming out of Washington, D.C., period. That's all there is to it. And if you're doing that, then, obviously you like people like, Hugo Chavez and Vladimir Putin and Jinping. And so you might as well just pack your crap, move to Mexico, North Korea, Russia, or China, because obviously, you don't want to be an American. I know, and I've talked to myself face-to-face, immigrants from Mexico who came over here for two reasons. One, they came over here because their country is freaking falling apart at that time. This is back in the mid-90s. And the other reason why they came over here was there was no jobs over there. There was no jobs over there up until, thank you, Mr. William Jefferson Clinton, signing NAFTA, which screwed you out of your job and sent it to Mexico. I mean, seriously. So there's no jobs in America now because of Clinton. What we need to do is totally abolish GATT and NAFTA and CAFTA, which is Colombian Free Trade Agreement. And I think there's the South American Free Trade Agreement or something like that. That was in the works. I think they finally passed that. But we need to get rid of all of it because we don't want to be isolationists, but we don't want to, encourage anyone to come here and, screw with this country. If Obama gets his way and he signs that executive action for immigration, you know how much in the next 5 years it's going to cost America? Upwards to $9 trillion. Okay? $9 trillion. That's with the T, folks. All right? You want to see where our debt is currently at? Go to usdebtclock.org. Okay? Check it out. Hey, folks. About time for me to get out of here. I said I was only going to be an hour. So I'm going to stick to that. So go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com. That's one site you can go to. The alternate site to that, I'm going to spell this out for you. So put your thinking caps on and grab a pen. American Liberty Radio .wix, .com/ALR network. AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. That's the alternate site. Okay. So I've been spending months trying to think, God, I need to get a backup site, and I never got around to it until just the other day. So yeah, procrastination. I love it. Oh, geez. Anyway, yeah, insomnia and procrastination. That's what I got. I'll sleep at some point, maybe tomorrow. Hey, folks, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, please show me why. Send your email to freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And more than happy to answer any questions you have. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. It's simple as that, folks. So anyway, hey, folks, I want to go away now. I'm going to go away. I'm going to enjoy my Thursday. I want you folks to enjoy your Thursday. Come back and to Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com or go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com and listen to the views expressed live, 4 p.m. Pacific. Nope. Scratch that. 3 p.m. Pacific. It's just a different time today. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. right here on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com and freeamericaradio.weebly.com. Hey, folks, enjoy your day. I'm out of here.